Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Good to have you with us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Well, we start off today with a sad story and a reminder of how dangerous home fires can be. A man in Idaho was killed this morning during a fire that destroyed the mobile home that he lived in.
First responders were met with flames so intense they couldn't even get close to the home. KREM 2's Brandon Jones found out that home didn't have active smoke detectors either.
Well, the cause of that fire hasn't been determined yet, but one man lost his life this morning when a mobile home was engulfed with flames. One person was able to make it out of that house, but by the time firefighters had already arrived, the double-wide trailer was swarmed.
So at 7 a.m., Kootenai County Central Dispatch received a call from a neighbor for a fully involved structure fire with a possible victim inside.
By 7:02, departments from Hayden and Rathdrum were dispatched to the scene along with Coeur d'Alene Fire. The Sheriff's Department arrived prior to them, but was unable to make an entry due to the heat.
According to the survivor, they didn't have any smoke detectors.
The man that was unable to make it out was only in his 50s. His name hasn't been released as the situation is being investigated. Because the home was in a rural part of the county, firefighters had to bring in extra water to ensure they had enough to defuse the situation, and flames ran from the front to the back of the trailer.
The cause has not been determined. It's still under investigation.
The fire was active for over 3 hours before being fully contained, and the person that was able to get out was treated at the scene without any injuries. Kootenai County Sheriffs will handle the rest of the investigation. In Garwood, Brandon Jones, KREM 2 News.
Well, it has been more than 2 weeks since a Moses Lake woman went missing in the North Cascades.
Over the weekend, search and rescue crews were again unable to locate the 28-year-old hiker, but now they say the ground searches have been suspended. The sheriff's office says there is a possibility for more air searches in the future. Rachel Lackaduck left Moses Lake back on October 17th, telling her family she planned to hike the Hidden Lake Trail to Lookout Cabin and spend the night. She hasn't been seen since. Well, Tom, after the coldest October on record, November's feeling pretty good so far, but our calm conditions also bringing with them stagnant air.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that stagnant air advisory in effect through tomorrow morning. Everywhere you see shaded in gray across eastern Washington and northern Idaho. Again, that's through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So there is a burn ban. You're only allowed to use EPA certified wood stoves or fireplace inserts. So keep that in mind. When we talk about what we've got going on with the rest of your forecast, the air quality right now still registering moderate. So that is good news right there. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. We keep it in the moderate range through tomorrow. Look for an overnight low of 30 under clear skies, sunny and mild on your Tuesday. Really more beautiful weather with just stunning sunsets. We look for a daytime high of about 52 for the weekend. More clouds move in. There's a slight chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday, but temperatures remain pretty mild. Overnight lows will stay above freezing, and we'll look for daytime highs in the low 50s.
Boy, today felt pretty fantastic, didn't it? My goodness. Well, the air quality in the inland Northwest was expected to be the worst in the nation today. Coeur d'Alene and surrounding areas in the good range right now. Lewiston and St. Mary's are in the moderate range. The air stagnation warning is in effect right now until tomorrow morning, as Tom just mentioned. Well,
starting today, the city of Spokane will begin cleaning up the leaves that have piled up on the city's streets. The pickups are planned 7 days a week from 7 in the morning until 10 in the evening. Now, they're going to start up in North Spokane, and then they'll make their way to the South Hill. And the city asks you that you don't rake your leaves into the street, as the service is just meant for leaves that fall naturally on our city roads. So to see when they're coming to your neighborhood, just click on this story and you'll find it on KREM.com.
A lot of leaf on the ground right now in my neighborhood, that's for sure. Well, tomorrow is the last day to turn in your ballots. Spokane voters will decide on the city's next mayor, the city council president, and other measures. So far, nearly 30,000 ballots have been returned. That's about 21%. All mailed-in ballots must be postmarked by tomorrow, or you can put your ballot in one of the city's 24 Dropbox locations. We have a list of where to find all those on our website. Just head to KREM.com. And on Wednesday, crews will be closing Euclid Avenue so they can begin work on the North Spokane corridor and build a new railroad crossing. The closure will last 2 weeks and reopen on November 19th. Until then, drivers can use Wellesley or Francis.
Well, it was one of Spokane's biggest murder cases in the last 25 years. We're talking about what happened back in 1997. A jury found Thomas DiBartolo guilty of murdering his wife at a park on Spokane's South Hill.
Now the former Spokane County deputy will soon return to Spokane, and tomorrow DiBartolo will appear in court. DiBartolo's return to Spokane will come about 23 years since his wife's murder. Coming up in our 5 o'clock newscast, we'll explain why he'll appear in court here.
And House Democrats are moving into the next phase of the impeachment inquiry. The committees leading the probe released witness transcripts from closed-door depositions.
Whitney Ward joins us live in the studio tonight with more details on that. Whitney.
Good afternoon to both of you. This is all coming after several House committees released those transcripts from two key officials. We're talking about former ambassador to the Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, as well as former State Department senior advisor Michael McKinley. So Yovanovitch testified that the president had personally pressured the State Department to remove her from her post. Even top officials assured her that she had done nothing wrong. She also says she was told to tweet praise for the president if she wanted to keep her job. Now, McKinley testified that he resigned from the State Department after the agency was refusing to show support for Yovanovitch. He told lawmakers he was troubled by the president's public comments about her and said it was clear the State Department was being drawn into the political arena.
We'll also see in reading his transcript his growing alarm at the degree to which the apparatus of the State Department itself was being used to seek political information.
If the only way that we can get answers to our questions would be in some other format, I'm willing to consider that.
Now, President Trump has suggested that he wants the whistleblower into his call with the leader of Ukraine to be unmasked. That is, despite federal whistleblower protection laws. House committees say they will continue to release transcripts related to this impeachment inquiry. The next two will be from Special Envoy Kurt Volker and former Ambassador Gordon Sondland. They are both accused of working with the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, to further the president's political interests. And of course, this is a developing story, so we'll bring you the latest as it becomes available. Mark, Tom.
Thank you very much, Whitney. The Trump administration is proposing a new rule that would allow adoption and foster care agencies to deny services to LGBTQ couples. The White House says the goal is to prevent religious organizations from having to choose between helping children and honoring their faith.
Yeah, the proposed rule by the Department of Health and Human Services would allow foster care and adoption agencies to reject LGBTQ families on religious grounds. The move would also apply to other programs receiving federal grants, including those that help with HIV prevention or homelessness.
It really just allows a bigger pool of organizations and parents who can pick from an organization that aligns with their own beliefs and philosophy on the family and on where a child should be placed.
What this rule does is it eliminates the number of willing and loving and safe families for children who are in need of homes, and that to me is very troubling.
In a statement, the Family Equality Council, an advocacy group for LGBTQ families, said, quote, "The rule will further limit the pool of loving homes available to America's 440,000 children living in foster care and put providers' interest in discriminating over the needs of youth in care," unquote.
A 2018 study from UCLA found an estimated 114,000 same-sex couples were raising children in the United States in 2016.
Happening today, more than 400 inmates currently serving time are walking free in Oklahoma. Voters and the state legislature approved a deal that downgrades simple drug possession and most nonviolent property crimes as misdemeanors. Oklahoma has the highest incarceration rate in the country. 469 men and women behind bars will be set free later today, and that'll make it the largest single-day commutation of prisoners in U.S. history.
Wow.
10 years.
For marijuana possession?
Yes.
How much?
It was probably $5 worth.
3 years ago, Oklahomans voted to make these low-level crimes misdemeanors instead of felonies, but people convicted before the law changed didn't benefit. This year, the Oklahoma legislature decided to give those prisoners a chance to get their sentences commuted and be released early.